Hey y'all, so we are going to be talking about colored pencils and how to layer them and blend them to make them look realistic and smooth. We will be practicing drawing a fall leaf with our colored pencils with a minimum of 3 different colors blending into each other smoothly. I'm going to start with the outline shape of our leaf first, and then we're going to start filling it in one color to another with our lighter layers layering over each other. I have my reference photo. It's always a lot easier when you have your reference photo in front of you. So I have a sugar maple leaf that's mostly reds, purples, and yellows within that. So I'm going to start off by our middle stem. And then I'm going to start going in and making the main shapes first. It doesn't have to be super realistic at first because we're going to be building on top of that. I'm going to start adding some of these little horns or spikes. Erase the lines that are not needed anymore. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing this until I get the shape I would like. So I started before I realized I wasn't recording, so I have some color down, but I'll start over. Right here are my main colors that I'm using for my leaf. It starts off with the yellow, and then it will slowly go into the purple tips of the leaves. Purple leaf tips out here. You can see that it's more yellow down here at the base, and it will slowly get darker and darker. Right now, I'm just doing a very light layer first so that I can have my bases down, and then I can start going back over it with some heavier pressure and strokes in a different direction. You can see my colors as well are in family groupings. So if I look at a color wheel, the color wheel will have these in a grouping together on one side. And I want to choose these types of groupings because I know that they will blend well and look well together. I did my yellow and my orange, so I'm going to go into my red. My leaf is mostly red. And when I drew out my leaf, I did it ever so lightly with a pencil. And you don't want any dark, hard outlines because we're going for realism here. And with realism, you don't want to have a dark outline because dark outlines tend to flatten out objects, kind of like cartoons. So cartoons are flat and have dark outlines. We don't want that in our realistic drawings. We try to have hard and soft edges that will cause our drawings to look more three-dimensional. And then just like how I overlapped my red with my orange a little bit to have a smoother transition from color to color, I'm going to do the same with my dark purple on my tips of my leaves. It's overlapping my red nice and softly so it will blend smoothly. With the changing of colors with the leaves, it's not a harsh outline majority of the time. Most of the time, it is a smooth transition from one color to another. Even if the leaves are not changing, like in the fall, if they're still green and lush, they will have different colors within them, not just a straight up normal green. Now I got my layer of all my colors down, and then I'm going to start adding more layers on top of each other. With each color, colors always look more vibrant when you add a different hue or a different tone with each layer. So with my yellows, my orange, reds, and purples, I'm going to add a slightly different color than that one. So with my yellows, I'm probably going to add a little bit of a golden color with it. With my oranges, I probably will add a brownish brick tone with that one. I'm just going to be adding a different kind of value along with them to make them pop and the colors to be vibrant. So I did several layers here, and I need to start doing the vein of the leaf before I start filling it in all the way. Now the vein of my leaf looks like a dark purple, kind of compared to that one. So with a really sharp pencil, I'm going to go ahead and start from my base and then to my tips. And just like how a tree grows, The base is always thicker than the tips. And I'm purposefully making my line not straight because it's not really straight, you know, when you see it in person. And this vein kind of goes out from right there. Now that I got my main veins in, I'm going to start adding a few more on top. Not a whole bunch because I don't want it to be overwhelmed with the little line. I need to sharpen my pencil really well to have a nice tip. Here's my leaf. I've blended most of my colors into more of a solid, brighter form. I may go back and touch up a little bit, but I wanted to show you about the shadow. The shadow isn't just gray or black or anything. There's actually a tint of color to it. But I'm going to use a slate gray, which is like a bluish kind of gray. And I'm going to be adding a little bit more color to that. And I'm going to put the shading on the right hand side of this. So ever so lightly, I'm going to mimic the outline shape of my leaf. Usually I put blue with my shadow, but since there's a lot of purple going on in this drawing, I'm going to add a hint of purple along with it. How you would add a shadow.